Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Lone Oak Farm. This is episode number 30, and as you can tell, we've got our rented cloth here. This is not the part of the DLC pack for those of you that are in the know. This is a mod, but it's the Americanized painted version, and I just sort of fell in love with that. We have been busy harvesting, and it's getting late in day two of our harvest. We've been at it for 2 full days, and we're just about tired. But you know, the work has to continue to go. And this one was a massive, massive soybean field. We also got the soybean field over across the highway done as well. We got a little over 12,000 liters of soybean off of that field, and we're currently in the process of harvesting our last field number 53, our last soybean field that's available to harvest right now. We're in the midst of getting that done. In the previous episode, and you haven't even seen that episode yet at the time that I'm recording this one, I made a major error, I think, when I was running the combine, the cotton harvesting combine, and dumping that first pallet the way that I did. There appears to be, if you own the DLC, I'm sure you're familiar with it. If you don't, then I will just tell you that if we catch up to it, and we can catch up to it a little quicker if I just tab over to it. Here we go, right here. You notice if you look in the upper left-hand corner how, or even in the lower right-hand corner, either of those directions, you'll see how it is filling the chamber at 4%, 5%, etc. The main cotton chamber is at 25%. I had actually dumped it at when the top bar was at 100%, and that was in error. So we're going to get a much smaller bell off of that first bell. But still, if we look at our menu here, we have processed 9 bells. Most likely, we'll get another bell out of this field before it's done. So 10 bells of cotton is going to be, I think, a good deal for us. Now, what we've got going on here is it's still all hands on deck, more or less. And by the way, we had to load up one bale of cotton here because it did roll. Bell dynamics are much better in Farm Sim 19 than they appear to be in 17 and 15, respectively. But we did have a bell that I believe got out in the street over there by the lone oak tree. And then when my semi came around on its course to complete its course on the yesterday game day, it hit that bell, and the semi ended up way over there in the cornfield. And I was lucky that I let Courseplay just continue to do its thing until it got off of the field, and then basically canceled Courseplay and then got the vehicle off the field. But anyway, so we didn't lose any crop in that little maneuvering. So we're going to empty him. As I said, we're all hands on deck for this day. We've got our hired worker, in other words, our contracted worker, our not Jack, not Billy Bob employee, fertilizing the field down there. That is one of the late soybean fields that we planted. That'll bring that up to stage 3 on fertilize. We've got one more field that we need to fertilize, one more soybean field that we'll need to fertilize to get it up to level 3 fertilization, and that'll be good to go. Trying to get my cruise control set here to match up with this speed, but oh well. It's early in the morning. It's actually the last day of 2019, and you guys won't see this video until most likely until next week. Now, you will have, by the time you've actually seen episode 29, and by the time that you've actually seen this video, episode 30, you will have also seen my brand new series on the Western Shore. That is kind of, well, I've labeled it a Farm Sim 17 Classic Series, and no, I did not just, if you haven't watched it, I didn't just basically say, make an error when I mentioned the version of Farming Simulator that I'm playing with that. Yes, it is Farm Sim 17 that I'm playing with that wonderful map. And yeah, the map, as the description says and everything, the map is private, and it's not going to be, to my knowledge, it's not going to be made available to the general public. And you know, I know at one particular point in time I was reluctant to. Let me get a drink of coffee if you don't mind. I know at one particular point in time I was reluctant to play maps or use mods that wasn't available to the general public. So we're three. This holds 3 bells. Um, we're going to go ahead and go and sell these. He's available for us to go ahead and take these over to. I think we're going to end up with 10 bells of cotton. Now, I have a feeling that one of these bells, I don't know which one, maybe the first one I loaded, that is that's that half or quarter portion bell, the one that I emptied early. So that was my mistake. Wasn't familiar with the DLC, and then I began to figure out. I was like, okay, I was kind of keeping an eye on it, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, it's taking a long time for it to spit the next bell out. And then I went over there and I kind of rode along with it, with Courseplay doing its thing, and then I realized what I had done wrong. So our corn is looking good. I guess I need to finish my thought on the all hands on deck statement that I made a few minutes ago. See, we got that soybean field back there harvested. So let's just pull up here. So it is all hands on deck, as I said. I'm pretty sure I can sell cotton here. Let's see how we sell cotton with this thing. Most likely it's going to be just like the okay. So 29, 23. We'll see. We'll see how that's gonna end up being. I kind of think that those first 2 bells, one of those wasn't a full bell. Anyway, all hands on deck. Let me finish this thought here, because I'm going to keep saying that. And, I'm going to annoy myself, but it is all hands on deck. The hired worker that we brought in is he's running the fertilizer spreader, because we needed to go ahead and get that done. So we pulled him off the combine as soon as the second combine, as soon as the John Deere was done with that other field over there. And we have him running the sprayer. He'll be done momentarily. And then Billy Bob and Jack and I are busy doing other things here on the farm. Billy Bob's running the combine. Jack is tending to the animals, and he's going to come over here and run the semi if we need him to run the semi. I don't think that we necessarily will, but in any event, so we've taken 3 off. Oops, that works. Grab another 3 here. That was 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that was 8, 9. He's got 1 on the back, so may not get to 10. But these, I have a feeling that these are definitely full. These are definitely full. These are definitely full bales of cotton. So we should get max price for these, and we're going to have enough. Let's see, soybeans in the S790. He is at. So we'll go up here and grab the tractor and auger wagon, and we'll park this guy here. You know, I don't mind. I prefer doing this kind of work, um, running the auger wagon and running around and everything, and keeping our, you know, the guys that I pay a wage to, keeping them busy running running combines, running trucks, or whatever, because it's a lot more productive that way. Yeah, you know, I'm fairly productive as well, um, and in some cases I'm a lot more productive sometimes than either of the two boys are, Jack or Billy Bob, because they do sometimes have a tendency to. So he's going to go down. If we get him 48%, we'll leave this guy right here, and then we'll go sell this cotton and see how we do off of it after we run all over the tractor. But anyway, regarding the new series on Western Shore, again, as I said, I doubt very seriously if this map is ever going to see the light of day outside of the private group that currently has the map. The map is a BulletBill masterpiece, and I got the opportunity to play this. It sort of fell into my hands by sheer dumb luck, maybe. I obviously have gotten to know BulletBill over the last several months on the Eustace Pharmer Discord channel, and he's been posting photos and such of the map, and so he offered me the opportunity. He offered me if I would like to have the map as well as some of his mods that he has done, and I said yes. You know, I certainly would. I had been looking and dabbling at another map for Farm Sim 19. And quite honestly, so yeah, that's more like it. So we're getting about 23,000 a bell. That is not bad. That's good. I think that's good for everything that we've got going on. You know, cotton is slower to harvest and everything, but definitely I wanted to spin over here right quick and let's check the health of our corn. Let's see when this might be ready to go. It's still growing. Let's see if we can get a. We're at 9% moisture, so we're close. We're close to being ready to harvest that. I really think that maybe tomorrow, tomorrow's game day, we'll be ready to start corn. So we're going to have as soon as, and I think we've got, you know, just another hour of work to do on harvesting the beans in this last field that we're going to be harvesting, and then I think that we will make the switch over to combine setup on corn, and yeah, it's a little bit of a switcheroo back and forth, but you know, it's what we've got to do because we've got 3 big fields of corn to harvest, and we've got to get that done, and then unfortunately we're going to have to switch back to soybeans. But I think what we're going to end up doing, and I see he's coming down, not really doing a whole lot there on that one row, but hey, he's getting synced up with his courseplay course, I guess. We're going to be all 2 combines harvesting corn for sure, for definite. That would definitely be the case, because the corn most likely at the tail end of the corn harvest, just like we've seen with the tail end of this first phase of soybean harvest, the other soybeans going to be ready to go. And but we still have a lot of work to do. And part of my goal is, as far as this map is concerned, this series, is we are going to play this a second season. So as a result of that, we need to get fields and everything prepped to prepare ourselves for that endeavor, for that task. And so we're going to need to, if there is a gap, for example, if there's a gap between soybean phase 1 and corn, then we're going to need to definitely start prepping these fields in some shape, form, or fashion. I haven't fully decided exactly what we're going to do to the fields, what fields are going to be what. In other words, how we're going to rotate the crops around. I have not made that decision yet, at least at the particular moment in time. We have already confirmed that we were not going to do grass in these two fields here, so those will become something other than grass, and we will put grass someplace else. But we really need to look at at the, that was 6, this is 8. We need to look at the overall plan, what we've done in the previous years. It's this is an inherited farm, more or less. My grandfather farmed here before me. My dad farmed here, and so it's one of those things where, and looks like we're going to have a partial. So unload, finish, spill. We did that. Let's move up. So we're going to have that one. And let's go ahead and fold this guy up. And shut him down. All right, so we'll head back over here, get this one full bell, and get it down to. So anyway, we need to look at, my granddad took meticulous notes on his farming operations and what fields did best with what. And there's obviously new technologies and new ways of thinking about some of this stuff, and we need to I need to be sensitive to that, to both the new ways as well as the old ways, because it will pay off. But in any event, need to look at what makes the most sense. Getting 10 bales of cotton out of field number 53, I think we'll be moving fields around, but I think it's worth putting cotton into a large field. I think it's worth planning to have a good cotton crop. Now, the political landscape being what it is, we don't know. This year, I have a feeling this year is going to be a good bumper crop. In other words, the payout's going to be solid for soybeans. But we don't know if that's going to be the case come this time next year. And so with that in mind, we can plan things, and we can certainly look at it and say, yep, we're going to kind of do something similar next year, but always have the flexibility to make a change if need be. If we think that soybeans are going to be down because this was such a solid year for them, then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We can always shift some things around. But we're gonna put some winter items in. Wheat, definitely. Canola, most likely, and get those in the ground here. You know, in due course. We can really start that now. But we need to prep these fields as well. We need to cultivate them, um, and get them ready to go. All right, so we're about 20 minutes in, and really and truthfully, other than picking up this last final bale of hay, which is, or not hay, but cotton, which is not going to be a full bale, but we'll still go ahead and get it. Looks like our John Deere S790 is at 70%, so hopefully he will make it up to the end of that row and then get turned around, but he may not. And we will start wrapping this episode up, and depending on the situation, depending on just how things go with corn, if corn is going to be ready to go for tomorrow's game day, then we'll be ready to harvest that. Otherwise, if not, then we will figure out something else to do, and it most likely is going to be field prep in some shape, form, or fashion. Probably going to be tilling, and maybe some fertilization, putting some fertilizer down. All right, so I'm going to drive this up this direction because might as well, and grab the other John Deere and the auger wagon and bring it down towards the S790. And we're going to send Jack is back at the shop tending to the animals, and then we're going to get him starting converting over the Kloss combine over to corn. Not a lot has to be done with that. There's a lot more work on the John Deere to get the John Deere converted over to corn than on the Kloss. The Kloss automates a little bit of that, but in any event, there is still a little bit that needs to be done. Now, the good news is that we've got the support of the dealership and everything. So push come to shove, because it's in their best interest that we experience harvesting both soybeans and corn with that Kloss combine, because obviously they want the opportunity to sell that to us. Now, whether or not we will buy it is still up in the air, but in any event, get on up there, catch up with him. There we go. All right. In any event, if we add more fields, and that is certainly something I would like to do, we'll just have to see how well the soybean cells work in the corn. But if that pans out the way that I hope it will, then we're going to be able to afford to expand a little bit. And whether we expand, at this particular point in time, in other words, in the fall or winter, or whether we wait and purchase afterwards, maybe, we'll just see. Well, I've got to check and see what the situation is really like with the other farmers to find out if they're planning on planting anything. If they're planning on planting anything, then I may let them do that work for me. But if they don't, if that's not in their plan, if they just don't have the resources to do that, then we may be looking at, because I don't want to necessarily see the field sit dormant, because it's going to be harder to work with next spring. So anyway, I don't know if I've mentioned this. I will just close with this thought and just say that Nothing is going to happen with the Lone Oak series. We're gonna continue this series out through a second year, as I said. Western Shore will be um, will be a series that will also be appearing on the channel. I don't know how many videos of each that you'll see in a given week. It will just kind of depend on what my availability and what my time and everything is. But once I can kind of get a grasp of that and get a hold of that concept of just how much I can actually do per week, then I will let you know. I will let you know. And I don't know if I completely finished the thought on why I wanted to go back to 2017. Um, but 2017 is a excellent version of Farming Simulator. I've got a ton of good mods on it, and plus I have this opportunity to play this map. And I had been thinking about going back to 17 after I had really exhausted finding decent maps to continue to think about putting in position after Lone Oak was done, and so this opportunity just happened to fall into my lap, so to speak, and that's where we are. So anyway, I need to keep an eye on my time because we've got an early morning eye doctor appointment this morning, and I'm not looking forward to it because I hate having my eyes dilated, but that is what it is. And then we are planning on having our traditional New Year's Eve Indian curry dinner tonight. We started doing that about 5 or 6 years ago. Actually, it was by accident that this whole concept fell into place. We had planned on having turkey and dressing and deviled eggs and kind of the whole Christmas spread once again. Even had those items in the refrigerator, the freezer, the pantry, all that kind of stuff. And both my wife and I got sick, got the flu, a day or so before New Year's Eve, and we felt absolutely like crud. And so neither one of us felt like cooking. And so we're like, okay, well, what do we feel like? And anytime I'm ill with like a sore throat, congestion, or whatever, I like spicy foods. Um, I like to have something a bit spicy to clear the congestion or whatever. And so I said, how about curry? How about an Indian curry tonight? And my wife is like, that sounds like a good idea. And so we did that. And again, it was completely by accident that we did that. And so each year now we do that. We have Indian curry on New Year's Eve, and it is just phenomenal. I don't think we've been sick since that time, so we don't necessarily repeat that whole thing, but we definitely repeat the Indian curry. So, of course, by the time you watch this video, it will already be New Year's. But I am hopeful that all of our New Year's 2020 is phenomenal. I hope that everything is. I hope your health. I hope your financial status either remains solid or improves, whatever the case might be. That whichever direction it needs to go. Your health, your wealth, all of that stuff. Your family is all safe, and as I've said before, 2019 has been a rotten year for my wife and I. We both lost our moms this year, and so really, honestly, I said this yesterday to my wife. I don't want to. I don't want to rush New Year's Day because I have to go back to work the day after New Year's on the 2nd of January. I'm not trying to get there quicker, but I said this year honestly cannot end any sooner, any quicker. So anyway, we're going to empty this guy. We're going to get things set up to go corn, and we'll be back with episode number 31. And we'll do something. I don't know what that something will be, but we'll be doing something here on the farm, and we'll have fun and enjoy our time for sure. So until then, until that time comes, Thank you for watching my gameplay here on Lone Oak Farm and my Farm Sim 17 gameplay on the Western Shore. I will see you all back here or on the Western Shore at some point in the very near future. God bless you all. Happy New Year to each of you and all of you. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.